Hey guys, what's up? For this video, I'm going to refer to myself as Osaka 6, and I'm going to tell you guys about something special, and that is the perfect number. And what it means to be a perfect person on Earth is to literally be your best self. In 1,000 lifetimes, with 1,000 choices, you would always pick the same choices and always gravitate towards the same eventual outcomes. And that means that you became the best you could ever be. And that is essentially the foundation of the religion of Scientology, which is a religion that I do believe in. So, as someone who went to Australia at a very critical point in time, I feel, based on the alignment of all the things in the universe, and did not get to meet my Scientological partner, Steph Grant, in person during that time. I did, however, get to see and do a lot of things, like purchase a lot of cool things and make a metaphorical rainbow out of clothing. But I did actually get to I missed the chance to have the best night of my life, at least up to that point in time, under the stars, laying on top of the mountain of Uluru with Steph. But that's just because she thought of things more important than our religion, so that kind of sucks for her. But anyway, I will say, it's not my fault. I couldn't do anything about it. I'm going to say, hate me, Lexi, I'm sorry, I can do better. I do want to say some things about this. And this is the number 6, and this is the tricky one. But it's the idea of hero and villain, and this is the idea that everyone's going to die at some point. And you can't run from that, you can't cheat that, and you don't believe me, watch the movie Final Destination, because that movie is true. You can't escape eventuality, because there's only ever one eventuality, and that's just what happens next. And if you don't want to know, then just don't guess what happens next. But if you want to know, play that game with Daniel Tosh, and I'm sure he'll love it. But anyway, the idea that we are all heading in one direction, and what happens to us is our own fate. And you can't cheat fate. If you don't believe me, ask Sarah Tershel. She knows about that. She's going to my high school. If you don't know her personally, maybe you've never heard of her life. That's just fair. But anyway, she knows something about something to do with Chronopolis and the ideology. Now I feel like someone's trying to incept something in my brain. So I'm like a little bit weird about that. But I'm aware of In Fate's Hands by Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, and that's good enough and all I want to know. Because if it's a matter of the 3 things that I don't want to know about, then I just won't worry about those 3s, because Lagos is good enough to just make sense as a place in Nigeria. So anyway, back to what I was doing. The idea is you got to die sometime, somehow, and the mindsets in my religion and maybe it's my dad's religion, but in the way that I grew up and was raised, was that it's better to die a hero than to live long enough to see yourself becoming a villain. I watched American Sniper one day, and I saw one of the characters said this phrase, and it's that I will kill you if you ever become a wolf, because in my world, a sheepdog always protects a sheep, and that's how I viewed being a leader in a pack. So I agreed with that. I was like, I'd rather die protecting my pack than to ever become a wolf. So that's just what I viewed leadership as, or just how I viewed my life. So I always gravitated towards the side of heroism, because I believed in being a hero. So this gets now complicated, and 7th Heaven is going to be a whole new subject, but there's one concept that's going to maybe shake your boat a little bit, and that's the idea of the anti-hero. Sometimes you got to play the bad guy to teach someone to be the good guy, and if they don't learn, then they're just a dumb person. But I can't say anything about that. Talk to Houston, because Houston, do we have a problem? Because I don't know, it's kind of one of the latest references or jokes in history, but anyway, if it's yours, you got to catch it, buddy, because it's a team sport. So anyway, Blue Ranger coming at you. The idea is that on Earth, every single person is expected to perform at their peak performance, and together we are the dream team. We do what we do, and we make sure that nothing bad ever happens to anyone. And if you don't believe in that, you've never suffered and never laid in bed and go, I wish I could just die. I've heard old people say that before, maybe not in person, but I've heard of people doing that through third-hand readings of information and material on, I think, Reddit is where I read it. Or maybe on crack.com or something. I don't know. Now I think about it, I think it was Reddit, but I just didn't want to say for sure because I couldn't remember for sure. But I don't know. Anyway, allegedly and supposedly people have complained about things in regards to living past the point in which they felt that their quality of life was worth living for. So those are the 3 things to evaluate, essentially. I would say quality of life, happiness level, and reasonable longevitological age, to the point where after that point it just becomes like your body just starts failing you, and it just becomes the point like that guy's body should just not be working anymore. We should just biologically let that guy die. So that kind of thing. But anyway, that's assuming at that point he's under like care and nurses or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, the idea is that everything on Earth is made to be perfect, and if you don't believe that, you don't believe in the perfect system, you don't believe in the perfect game, you don't believe you can have the perfect life, and you can do everything on Earth perfectly, including never think about it even once. And if that happens, you'll never even notice the thing. You'll just be living your life and not have to worry about a single thing. So that's the best way, in my opinion, to go through the dance of life, is to only ever expect nothing and to only ever get it as it comes. Because in the world where you can meet in a chance encounter, why ever, if your life is a beautiful story, try to spoil the ending? So, that having been said, some things to keep in mind. All things in history do or did make sense if you think about them in the way they could be thought about. Everything does always have a way of working out because there's always going to be a final destination, and everything does have a way of resolving itself, but your commitment level does affect something. So laziness is technically frowned upon, as are certain other things. So I would encourage you to do the things that you feel are best in life. And in my world, at least, I believe that doing the best and doing good for people and doing great things will always get you higher, better, and farther in life. So, but anyway, the idea of a pure choice is one that is made innately of a human's own volition. And that is, I think, one of the bases for fate. So if you don't believe me, ask this girl Erica. I don't know if I'm comfortable releasing her last name, but I know at one point in time it could have been Rigoli. She would probably back me up if I said the idea that if a person wanted to choose to become a hero or villain, they shouldn't have any information to the contrary as to what would be the result, except for what they know already about what being a hero means, and what being a villain means. If they choose something on Earth, it's because they made a choice, and they knew what would happen if they made that choice because they know what those things are. So in my world, choosing to be a hero is a sign of weakness, because you could have been saving people, but instead you just succumb to like the easy instead of doing what's hard and what's necessary to do the right thing. But anyway, I don't know. I'd say after the fact, in my world, heroes always beat the villains. So because good guys always win, heroes rule, villains drool, and if you don't know much about anything on Earth, it's probably because you're too dumb to. So we're just gonna find the Rafflecopter over your head. Anyway, but that's my take on perfection. So if you don't know about perfection, maybe you've missed a single step, maybe you've missed something. But there's a Chinese kid who works at the mart, so if you don't know about that, you should talk to Indiana Jones. He loves the kid. Just kidding. But maybe they've gotten to be on good terms now, or by now. I don't know. Anyway, I will say that if you like guns, maybe you belong in America. If you don't like guns, maybe you don't belong in America. Or maybe something else is going on. Maybe you're trying to hunt for food, or maybe you just hunt for sport, or maybe you're just hunting for pigeons or clay pigeons. That's something people do for sport. So if you're hunting for metal, take up clay pigeon tree or whatever you want to call it. I forget because I don't have the entire Olympics sports book memorized off the top of my head. But if it's something you do and excel at, by all means do it. And if other countries send other representatives to, you can shoot with them and see who can hit the most pigeons. Anyway, the only other thing I gotta say is I hope you like shopping is my cardio. But whatever you do for exercise, I hope you know that you only get one body on Earth, and to see it fail, as a Greek once put, is the biggest pity. Because no one wants to see what a man can't do with his body. So you should at least exert it to its limit and at least know its limit, and I'd say keep it there, keep it redlining for as long as you can until it sputters out and collapses, and at that point in time I think you've had a good life. Because in my world it's always about the YOLO, the live long or live, I don't know, maybe there's different mottos, but anyway, it's the idea is to live the best life you can, to have no regrets back, and to put nothing before living your best life. As I guess the best way to translate what I was about to say, which is apparently a stupid thing to say, which is to live fast, die young, and live a pretty corpse, or live a beautiful corpse, or something. This is all now stupid. But anyway, what I said originally is probably holding the most merit, because I didn't mean to overturn that or overrule that or try to change that. So it was just a reference to something else. But the idea, and that's the other saying, is to live fast, die young, and leave a pretty corpse. So whatever that is, it's just another belief system that ties into the same kind of thing, or whatever. I have no clue. Anyway, hope you guys like living, because it's rule number 6: get busy living, get busy dying. You never know, one day at a time. So I'll see you when I see you, as always. This is Henry Jonathan, so peace out.